Drew, when you guys are able to run the ball as effectively as you did on Friday, how much more so does it open up what you're able to do offensively?
Yeah, listen, running the football does a lot of things. Obviously, it allows you to really control the line of scrimmage. It sets up your play-action passing game. Typically, if you run the ball well, you're talking 4 or 5 yards a pop. It's allowing you to really control the tempo of the game. Time of possession becomes, really something in your favor, obviously because you're chewing up the clock. And I think it just, over time, there's an attrition. It wears defenses down. When you talk about having to defend that type of a run game over the course of, 3-4 quarters, I think that's when you really start to see the benefit of it as well.
Next one from Mike Triplett.
Drew, Sean Payton has always talked about Alvin Kamara's intelligence, saying all the way back to when he coached Marshall Faulk for comparison, and that he hasn't had many running backs with that intelligence. How have you seen that, both on the field, maybe even in conversations you've had?
Yeah, listen, he knows football. I mean, he knows about a lot of things. I mean, he's just one of those guys that can hear something one time and he's got it. There's some guys who, need to be able to, rep something a few times before it becomes ingrained. And I think, listen, I'm kind of one of those guys. I'm a rep guy. I like reps. I like, feeling timing and rhythm and just doing it kind of over and over again to get the feel of something or the confidence with something. And Alvin's one of those guys who you can just tell him something. He doesn't necessarily even need to get out there and rep it, and he's got it. He'll remember it, he'll retain it, and I think that's a rare trait.
Next one from Amos Morano.
Yeah, as you guys head into the final week of the season, what are some of the goals you still have laid out that you want to accomplish during this last game?
Well, in my opinion, I just want to be playing our best football. I want to be as sharp as we possibly can. Understanding that obviously we're still missing a few guys that hopefully we'll have when we get to the playoffs, but still be as sharp and efficient as we possibly can. Like, understand exactly what wins football games, and let's make sure that we're doing all those things. And we're putting ourselves in the best position to succeed every time we step on the field. Because I think then there's a confidence that comes with that. There's an edge that comes with that. And listen, everybody who makes it into the tournament, at the end, is a team who has found ways to win in order to put themselves in a position to be a playoff team. And so once you get into the playoffs, you're playing against teams that, that know how to win, that have found different ways to win. And so each one of those games just becomes, that much more important when it comes to kind of the finer details of winning those games.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, Drew, on days like yesterday when y'all are off, are you using that day? Are you being a cheerleader? Are you being a scout? What are you sort of doing on a Sunday like yesterday?
Man, I'm spending a bunch of time with family. But listen, my kids love ball, and so we, most times we have a game on, and so we're sitting there watching for a bit, and then we'll go outside and, kids will jump on the trampoline, or we'll go to the park, or we'll go for a bike ride, or we'll do something, and then come right back and we'll watch some more. So yeah, we watched bits and pieces of a bunch of different games yesterday.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Drew, that was actually going to be my question. I know your kids are big football fans, so I was curious what their analysis was on Alvin's game on Friday.
Well, Alvin officially won Balin his fantasy football championship with that performance. So Balin was in the finals going into this week, and I guess 6 touchdowns get you 56 fantasy points, and so that turns out to be pretty good. That pretty much sealed the deal. He destroyed the other guy, thanks to Alvin.
Next one's from Brett Martell.
Hey, Drew, sticking with the Alvin theme, this season, I wonder if you could comment big picture his influence on the Saints. I don't know if you agree that it's his best season, but, in the year when, the 2019 Offensive Player of the Year is not available for 9 games, and, obviously you were hurt, and there's some other guys in and out of the lineup. How would you kind of characterize his Alvin season?
Listen, he's had a phenomenal season. He's been available. He's been as good in the run game as he has been in the pass game, as he has been in protection. So all around, I certainly feel like this has been his best season. I mean, he's done great things all the way up to this point, but I think, especially coming into a year where he just received an extension to his contract, right, and a commitment from the Saints that, and you're our guy, you're going to be here long term, and then for him to have the year that he did, when I think you may look historically at some guys that, where maybe the motivation isn't quite as much. I think Alvin's one of those guys who is he's a prideful guy. He takes pride in his preparation, representing his team, and then going out and his performance on the field. And, similar to what Michael Thomas did last year, coming off of his contract, this year with Alvin. I mean, I think it says a lot about the type of guys that we bring in here and their love of the game and their commitment to what we're trying to accomplish here.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Drew, you said last week after the Chiefs game, it was about getting rhythm and feel back. Are you still at the stage where you're trying to get that back? Or did you feel the Vikings game was a little bit better there?
I definitely feel like the Vikings game was better. I mean, there was. I mean, really. Listen, all in all, I felt like we moved the ball extremely well, both on the ground and through the air. I mean, listen, we didn't punt in the whole game. Had 580 yards or something total offense. So we were moving the ball, we were rolling, we were doing, what we wanted to do. There was, and I think there's definitely more to be desired. I mean, there's definitely room for improvement, especially as we kind of get to this last game and on our way into the playoffs. But I think I'm pleased with the progress.
Next one's from Amy Just.
Yeah, speaking of this next game, no team in NFC South history has ever swept the entire division. And there's been some really good teams in this league, a couple Super Bowl champs, several other teams to make it there. What would that mean, I guess, for you and the team to, just add another piece of your name into the record books and lore and all that stuff?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I was thinking about that a little bit, just because this is our 15th season here, right, in the Sean Payton era, and we've had a bunch of great teams here, and there have been a bunch of great teams around our division, that have been Super Bowl caliber teams, and I think it just says a lot about the division when, no team has ever, swept the division. I mean, you understand how hard it is to win in the division, kind of week in and week out, and there are so many battles, and it's kind of like regardless of record too. I mean, you are getting everything that each of those teams has, and I think we understand the significance of that, and obviously that'd be a great accomplishment, but at the end of the day, it's just getting another win, which just even better positions ourselves for the playoffs.
Next one's from John DeSager.
Drew, I know these are regular season games, obviously, and so they don't have that sudden death feel, but have these last couple of games been, I guess, somewhat kind of a playoff atmosphere when you're jockeying for position and there's still so much to play for?
I think you try to take that approach. You absolutely try to take that approach. I think you get to December and all of a sudden things really begin to define themselves. And listen, there's so many divisional games that there's just still so many things that can happen, right? Because each divisional game is almost worth two, and so obviously we're in a position where we've secured the division, we've won the division, and yet there's still so much out there in regards to playoff scenarios. So we want to best position ourselves for the tournament, and we also want to be playing our best football going into it. So we're constantly thinking about how we can improve.
All right, we're all set.
I guess.
Drew.
Thanks.